Well, camera Mandy, hello, good morning, how are you?
Good. So it's crazy because I can hear you, but all I see is a black box, but apparently everyone else can see you.
I
So
forgot to take off my spectacles, which I'll need to wear when we read, I think, but maybe not. We shall
see,
see.
I wouldn't know that because I'm gonna take a picture and send it to you. You're just a black box to me.
That is
So
so well. You can post that up. But hey, listen, what a marvelous scenescape! What is that one entitled? The one we were
it's
just
called
watching?
Spirit of the Wood, and I
Yes.
was very stressed this week in my at the office, and I kept playing it, and I was like, "Gosh, this is so calming."
It
So
like
yes.
took down your stress levels.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, welcome to Goo Morning, Zyathé.
Indeed. Good morning, friends. Happy Saturday. I hope you all are doing wonderfully. We are excited for the stream today and all the things that are going on. We're actually going to preview a little bit of Genzacon, which Marvelous Rob and I have been collaborating on. And I think I've made it a little bigger than Rob originally envisioned. So but that's okay. I think it's going to be an incredible adventure. I think it's a wonderful mystery, but it's still got some good combats and other activities, role playing and such that people like. So I think, but we're going to do a reading and we'll walk people through some of the characters and do all kinds of stuff later in the show, right, Camera Mendy?
Yes, I'm very excited about this. And spoiler alert, apparently yours truly makes a little cameo
Yeah, so
in Shadows.
you're
I have no
spoiling the
idea what.
spoilers, is what you're spoiling right now, because we're about to do spoilers. That's going to show people that. So.
I know. I'm spoiling the spoilers. It's a good time.
No, this is going to be fun. We're going to show some wonderful artworks and just a few of them, and we're going to show some maps that Smashcate's been working on, and no, it's very cool, you know. And for those of you who love a good mystery, I can't remember who said it. I think it was, oh goodness gracious, somebody in the Facebook. I got a number of suggestions from people in the Facebook in terms of making a good mystery, right? And one of them, of course, was the possibility of different endings. And this will actually have Shadows in Genzacon will actually have different endings. And of course, we're going to give this away with a purchase. What was the amount of purchase that you have to make at the booth, Cameron?
$30.
Right, $30, and we're gonna have the since we really don't have many items that are $30, we're gonna have the character folios. Goodness gracious, Alphinius, the character folios there for people to be able to get. They can get a couple of those, and then that will suffice for the purchase. Otherwise, hopefully, people will buy things like the Zyathé is Republic. Goodness gracious, I'm really having trouble this morning, Cameraman. Hold on, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Vamp for time, quickly. Vamp for time.
Hi. Okay. So, also exciting news from our friends at Tabletop Misfits. I'm going to play this video. You have to go watch it with audio.
Saturday night or Sunday night. Excuse me.
Yeah, tomorrow night. So go watch this video on Facebook. It's super cool. Our friends at Tabletop Misfits are starting a brand new streaming adventure called Plots in Darkenhaven. And so they're taking Darkenhaven and they've written their own story for it and made their own characters. And they're going to be doing just an incredible story in Darkenhaven. And on top of that, they made this amazing intro video and I'm so proud of them. It looks so cool. So yes,
I don't know who did that. Was James did that, or did someone else do
that? It was either James or Corey.
Or Corey. So, Corey might have done this. That's right.
Yes, I'm sure. I think they're both in the chat, so they can tell us. Yes, Corey did it. So, anyways, I am so excited for this. And another spoiler: yours truly might also make an appearance at some point in Plots in Darkenhaven as well.
Good God, Mandy, you are so popular.
I don't know. I think once people see me play, they might be like, "Oh, we're gonna stop asking her to go do things." So anyway, this
is very exciting. It's tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Yep. And it's going to go for a couple 3 hours, I think, something like that. And it's going to be an ongoing saga, right? So this is kind of cool. And I think Corey is going to be game mastering, and we have a number of wonderful players from the Misfits. And I had the chance to chat with Corey about it yesterday, and he's pretty stoked about it. So you know, James, of course, is sort of the the person who pushes the Misfits and does an awful lot of work to make sure that goes. But there's a number of wonderful folks who are part of this marvelous group. So yeah, that's fantastic. Tomorrow night,
everyone. It's 12
excellent
episodes
mapping for
long.
time. So here's what I want to make sure everybody knows about Genzacon. So Genzacon is going to be a limited edition run. We may do it again, but we will do it with some changes in it. So the one that is going to be made for Gen Con this year will definitely be very special. And it's obviously got some wonderful images, and we're going to show you some portraits and things like that will be in there that may never be in there again. And so normally it would sell for $40, but if people go to the booth and make a purchase of $30 or more, they can get that. They can get Shadows and Genzacon at the booth for free. So we're hoping people will come and not just try to buy something for $30, but actually hopefully support us a little bit more and maybe get a Cyclopedia Zyathé Volume 1, maybe get the first little bundle that we have of Chapter 1. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We will be selling Witch's Wrath at the booth as well for $40 with a bundle as part of a bundle. We'll be doing Strange Degree Holiday at the booth as part of a bundle. We won't be able to sell them individually and give away a free Genzacon module. It would be like us giving people money for doing it because they're quite expensive. But anyway, what we're going to do for people who have not done that before, people who have not been able to go to Gen Con and not been able to attend and be able to make that purchase, we're going to either allow you to do the same thing from items that we have available, or be able to just buy the Genzacon module for I think probably $40 because we got to do shipping and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to take care of our friends who are home. All right, we want you to know that if you can't go to Gen Con and you've been one of our friends, you're going to be able to get this if you want to be able to get this. But it will only be available for about 30 or 40 days after the convention. After that, we've got to shut it down. That's our agreement with the folks from Gen Con who are in the adventure. So that's very important. All right, Camera Mandy, do we want to do this wonderful social media thing right now?
Yeah,
or
we'll do
other
it.
announcements that you want to put out there?
Well, I wanted to show that this is what I am currently talking to right now. So that way you all believe me that it's just a black box. But
That's
I'm
really
enjoying your
weird.
voice.
I don't know why that is. I mean,
I know. It's bizarre, isn't it? But
at least we know that it was your technical difficulties, not mine. I'm happy.
Oh, yes, of course.
Michelle is actually coming to Gen Con to be with us, and she's bringing lots of green things. Yeah.
Yeah, she is our Gooey cheerleader. So those were spirit fingers for anyone who was curious.
Nice, but we got a lot of comments on the kicks, as the young people used to call them, right? The kicks, the green kicks are off the hook. Yes, excited to see you, Michelle. I'm so happy you were able to make it work. We were going to miss you, and then Geeky puts this up this morning, so
yes,
I have a feeling there's a few selfies going up. I put one up.
Yes, everyone on the Gooey Den, Geeky has made a post posting your Gooey selfie, and I love this because it helps us put faces to names. We love it.
Yes, that is one thing. Just one thing for you all to remember. This is important. You get the advantage of seeing Camera Mendy's and my face.
Well, I don't see your face right now. I don't know what you look like. I've already forgotten.
Camera Mendy is a black box, right? But when we're talking on Facebook and talking in these comments, I don't have the advantage of getting to see your face all the time. So if I look at you at the convention or something like that and go, "Come on," it just means that I know who you are. I just can't connect the face to your name. Part of that is also because I am old. So just put that in your mind. Please never take offense, because that is a difficulty. Then I have to figure out the Discord handles and the Facebook names, and people sometimes use different Facebook names than their real names. I mean, this is difficult, for an old guy. So anyway, post a selfie.
Oop. Zoom out. Okay,
yes.
So I'm showing our Gooey people this morning. This is David Stormer, and he sent this photo. Here's what I love. This is the best portrait photo before the portrait that we've ever gotten. So we're doing a custom folio or a custom portrait for David. And he sent us this amazing picture for us to base our portrait off of. And I love the chicken and I love everything about it. I love the outfit. Everything about this photo makes me happy. And so thankfully, David told me this morning that we could share it. And I can't wait to see the actual portrait that comes from this.
Yes,
So
and it is actually in process along with a bunch of other artworks we're doing for Genzacon and for Witch's Wrath. We're finishing up a couple of artworks we got to do for that. We're doing artworks for Gloomport and a couple more for Darkenhaven. And of course Magicka. Although actually when I think about Magicka, I think all the artworks are done for Magicka, which is a lot. It's like 50-60 pages of art, something like that. So, and Magicka is going to be stunning. I'm just so excited about it. And Carrie, of course, put so much effort into it, but not just Carrie. There's been so many people. We've had, Jim and Alexander and Lee Langston helped us with some editing. We've had contributions from so many people of spells and magic items and all kinds of stuff. And on the Goo crew, AJ has put in so much effort, and Autumn, and we've got Lindsay who's working so hard on the layout, and Stephen, and it's just Mel, of course, marvelous Mel, who we don't know we could do without her. She just is so amazing, and Riley, and we've got just so many folks who have put in effort. Josh is working hard trying to help us with magic items. Kaya has literally spent hours and hours and hours editing the entire book. And it just goes on and on how many of our people. And if I didn't mention you, please don't be hurt. There's so many folks who have contributed, and we're going to do our best to get everybody in the titles and the thank yous and all of that kind of stuff. And it's just so appreciated. How wonderful the community comes together, and how we're making really, really amazing materials. It's just wonderful.
Alphinius, I missed the segue. Are you putting David in Magicka?
No, I don't think David will make it in Magicka.
Okay, because I was showing the picture of David with the chicken, and then suddenly you went on like a 2-minute thing about Magicka, and I missed the transition there somehow.
Because I'm a black screen, and just
okay.
because I do this a lot, right? I just go off the rails, so to speak. It's kind of like a good party running around a town, right? They just go off the rails all the time. So it's
know what? I put a fun meme in here. Let me go find it super quick. I love this.
Good gracious.
This is a classic. It's a classic, but it's so true. There are exactly 2 types of D&D parties, and it's the adventure party for Lord of the Rings, and then
the guys
hilarious.
Yes.
Yes, goofball. And I definitely fall in the second category.
Yes, that's pretty fun. It's really, really fun.
I'll go backwards now.
Okay, we're going to go backwards. So this is Keaton. And Keaton got a portrait from us and wanted to be a Gorund. And a Gurund magic user, but a little more sort of got this musketeer westerly kind of thing, right? Which is kind of Fusilier, right? This is kind of the way the Fusiliers, but honestly, who cares, right? What do magic users all need to look like? What's this guy? Gondalf, or whatever his name is, Gandalf. Uh-huh. They all need to look like Gondalf, yes. So no, they don't. But this is a marvelous image, and Keaton. We got it kind of figured out, and I'm hoping that we, in fact, I know we can. Get Keaton into Darkenhaven. Actually, my idea is to get David into the Gloomport, but I'm not sure yet, Cameraman. We're trying to figure out all these portraits, because the boxes are going to have all these characters, right? Because that's part of the game, right? That's part of the Gooey Cube thing, is to give people lots of pictures.
Well,
but anyway,
it's okay to hold on to some pictures for future adventures. Not everyone has to be in Gloomport and Darkenhaven.
Remember that just because you appear in the Gloomport at a certain time doesn't mean you're there all the time.
All the time. I agree. I'm just saying that we have a whole world of places to explore. So
Indeed. Okay. Anyway, this is Koda, and Koda is a Gorund. And so, and Koda is a magic user of sorts, and it is fantastic. So,
absolutely.
All right.
Okay, next up.
And the Gloomport is kind of the crossroads of Zyathé. I agree with that, Pamela.
Okay, so we have some minis. Harry did Brina Elkhart, which is Star's marvelous character.
Yes.
Show that off.
And Harry, and this is like, I started cackling. I could not help myself. That Smedley has suddenly shown up.
True life, accurate. Although this is kind of horrifying in the post-COVID. Well, I know we're still in COVID, but COVID world. It's like, Anyway,
Yes,
but I
but this
guess
is the thing
it
is
doesn't
the thing about
exist in
Smedley.
Zyathé,
The
huh?
thing about Smedley is that in some parties, Smedley is like an evil paladin of depravant of darkness. In some
Mhm.
parties, Smedley is a total hero. In other parties, extraordinary annoyance. I mean, I'm sure that somewhere Smedley has been killed. So,
Oh, I'm
hi,
sure.
Tyrone.
I'm sure.
Hello, hello, Stacy. Indeed.
Yes. No, he's
So,
definitely
so
an NPC that you either love or hate.
yeah.
So,
So we've had Brina, which is Star's marvelous character, and we've now had Smedley, and let's see what's next. I think we got one more.
oh no, I showed this is a hill giant that, and I just wanted to put this in here for a reason. So I got this hill giant from my dad for Father's Day, and then my brother-in-law painted it. It looks really cool. And what my dad did was there's a certain encounter in chapter 4, and he took out the monster that we were going to fight and put in the hill giant instead. And I thought how clever it was because he was dying to use this. I mean, he just got it for Father's Day. It just got painted. That you can just, if you don't want to go with the monster that's in the in whatever chapter that you're playing, you can adapt it. And like that's one thing about our materials is you're not beholden to everything that's in a chapter or in the story. If you want to do something different and cool, go for it.
Well,
So
for example, probably if I was running Carnival, I'd probably add a thread of my own. Like I'd add a small dungeon or some kind of an experience that would actually play out as they continued on the path of the adventure. I do those kind of things all the time. And I completely agree with you. And it is wonderful. That's part of the thing. Now, the other thing is that the party often does things that requires you to add things in as well, right? And because some member of the party comes up with something cool and starts doing something, and suddenly something happens, and the next thing you know, you've got this other thread, but and that is the wonderment of the tale, is that the tale is being told as it progresses, and it might have sort of a schema, if you will. It might have sort of a plan, but often those plans can twist and grow and change and adjust. And that's actually the fun for me. That's one of the most funnest aspects of the adventure, is the evolution of the tale. Not just that there's a predetermined tale that's going to go exactly this way, right? And I think that's why most people love this game so much.
I think it's great to have what we have as a guide. And if it was me running it and I'm still like a new GM, I might just stick with what's in the box and just, that's what I learned and that's what I studied, and I'm not great at adapting yet. So maybe I stick to that. But then other GMs out there who want more of their story in it, we just don't want them to be afraid to adapt their story to make it theirs.
And indeed, and they're not. Believe me, most
Yes.
this is. I think most of the experienced game masters bring all kinds of things. And Jen, I completely agree with that. I think that this is it's this collaborative storytelling idea, right? And if you and I believe, like I do believe, if you establish a really good sort of major plot and a really good major story, right, the players will run with you, right? They will. And that is marvelous, right? But also, they're going to do things as the course of this thing. You can't, they will go different directions. They will do that. I missed that last comment, cameraman. You should put that one back up.
Oh, hold on. It says, if I have learned anything from D&D, it's that you can predict. Is that you can
It's
predict
really
what your
can't.
players will do.
I think
Can't. Yeah,
yeah.
it's this wonderful living story, and that's very true.
It is.
So you can't
And
predict
that's
them.
honestly what makes it better, right? Because Carnival, it's so funny because the wonderful idea of Carnival, right, is that it's really a mini sandbox. And so for a game master who's not prepared to sort of run a sandbox thing because they're less experienced or whatever, it really gives them a confined sandbox, though the players are going all over the place. But the wonderful thing about it also is that it has also got all these different storylines and things going on. And what's amazing to me is when people post up sort of their tales of Carnival, how different each adventuring party and their game master's game is, and yet still within the framework of sort of this sandbox. And that is why I do believe in putting together a wonderful tale, and I do believe in sort of giving a pretty good directional plot line and subplots, and I believe in these things. but as part of your game mastering, you've got to always be ready to add in things, to bring new things to the table, because your party will run with you. I said that earlier. Your party will run with you if your tale is good, right? They will, almost always. Chaotic players who just want to go off and kind of screw up your game, there aren't very many of those. And but they do bring these wonderful other aspects, and that is what is so wonderful. That's exactly right, Randy. If you give them free reign, they're going to bring parts of the story. You're going to accentuate parts of the story that are more interesting to them. You're going to sort of push down things that are less. This is game mastering at its best. And really, it's not game mastering. It's sort of game moderating, right? I agree with what was said earlier. So, and then, Chris, I agree with that too.
You just got to adapt it on the fly.
Yes, exactly. Right. And this is what makes it so wonderful. In fact, you know what, my friends, I'm playing today. So this is very exciting to me. I'm going to actually have a game today. We're going to do a session 0. So it's been a long time since we got to sit around the table and roll some dice other than one time. And then I got to play, of course, in Harry's Marvelous Mud Mounds adventure at KublaCon, which was fantastic. So what do we got next, Andy?
Well, I'm just going to say now, my dad has played with Kim for Alphinius for several years.
Decade.
And now he has become a GM. And so now you're going to have another GM at the table. So
that's all right.
See how that goes.
He was already a nerd rager. He might as well. Yes, and marvelous, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Both Mike and I, thank you so much. This is so wonderful.
And I got one too. I just haven't had a chance to take a picture of it yet.
Yes. So Chris, you are marvelous. And Chris has done painting for us in the past, and he's going to do some more stuff here for us here as soon as I can get my arms around all the things that I got to put up a box together and all that stuff. The previous one, cameraman that Chris painted, is very exciting. This is from Rocket Pig Games, I believe. And the marvelous thing about this is that long ago, we started talking about flowstone golems. And Chris was one of the ones who was talking about them. He was excited about them. Is how do you take flowstones and sort of imbue them into these I agree with this. I just want to jump back. This is the truth. And that's why when you look at our adventures, I just want to jump back to this, because this is, my friends, if you don't do this in your games, do this in your games, right? So that's why we put in all of the pre-gens, there's a little secret in every pre-gen that we created. And that little secret for each one of those characters is designed entirely for the game master to be able to run with. It's an underplot that is all around that one character, right? And then we also have the major player secrets, which are significant plot hooks that are designed to be built around each one of the characters, right? And so this is so wonderful for your players to have them feel special, to bring this little thing there. And again, another thing to just consider in your game mastering. And so this is so good, so good. That's exactly right. Anyway, jumping back to Chris's flowstone golems. So all of a sudden here we are looking through all of these printed creatures and all of that stuff. And I happened to see this nigh on a year ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, right? And then here Chris has gotten it printed and made it into this marvelous flowstone golem. And Chris, thank you also for donating to the stream for Gen Con. This marvelous. But anyway, it's just a wonderful model. And it was wonderful to receive it. Thank you for the gift, Chris. You are marvelous.
Thank you. You are so fabulous. Okay, now we're going back the other direction. We can't spend too much time on this. Gooey Cube Cake is giving
We've already shown the Gooey Cube Cake in the past, but this was the
Yes.
controversy, right? This was the controversy, cameraman D.
I just need to be very clear that I am not the only party pooper here, because the convention center does not allow cake. So even if we could manage to get this cake safely to Gen Con in Indianapolis, 19 hours away on a road trip, we would have to...
I have given in.
I just want to let everyone else know, because Austin commented this morning and was like, well, I know some local cake makers in Indianapolis. And I was like, no, we have to use the con-approved cake.
For all of you wonderful people that are going to come to Genghis Con in February, we are going to ask Marvelous Allie to make a Gooey Cube cake for a celebration that we will bring to Genghis Con, because it's only an hour up the road and we'll probably make it. Okay.
And we're good friends with Donnie and Andrea. And so they'll let us have a Gooey Cube cake that is from outside and bring it into the convention center. But yes, anyway, okay.
Onward from the cake controversy.
Oh, this is just I have a few pieces of inspiration for people that really caught my eye.
Is this not marvelous? Jim,
This reminded me of a god, Gooey Cube god.
this is so magnificent. And
Mhm.
I appreciate to all of you who put these up. You know, I know it takes a little bit of time. You have to, especially if you're trying to make sure we credit the artist, which we always want to try to do. And again, one of the things I love about the Gooey Den, and I love about all of you from is this wonderful contributions of these things that are so inspirational. And I've said it so many times, and I'm sorry to be a broken record about it, but I'm a creative person. I grew up in the creative business in advertising, and I love looking at these kinds of things. And I just encourage you. The Den is so filled with wonderful stuff. Just take a moment and onwards from the cake controversy. Onwards from the cake controversy. Yes, that sounds like a Monty Python line. But anyway, I want to tell you that take a moment, like look at the video that the Misfits put up, right, and have fun with it and see these imagery. Like, look at this. Harry put this up. This is just magnificent. I'm sitting here thinking I need a race, right? This is what suddenly goes through my mind. I'm thinking we need a really cool race. Maybe maybe this comes in Estrenia, right, of really tall, gold-skinned individuals who could really contribute to the world. So now this is totally in my mind, and it's because Harry just put up this post, right? To just put that forward, it is just. I just love this. And Harry, these are I think Harry's in the chat, or maybe not today, but this is statuary. This is actually something you come walking up on. I would definitely do some interesting things, like stick my head out from behind one of them.
That's funny.
Oh yes, is this not great? Jim put this one up too. Now that is quite a mechanical machination right there. I think everything needs to be pretty tied down on those houses.
Well, I wasn't sure if this was a moving horse or if it was a city that had been built on top of this monument to a horse.
I kind of felt like it was moving, but
it could be like a moving city.
Maybe it doesn't, because actually when you look at the leg, right, the leg has all of those little buildings on it. If the leg moved, that would be a real problem. So I think you're right. I think it's
a horse like this. Maybe this horse existed hundreds of years before the city was built, and it met something that froze it in place and turned it to stone, and people decided to build a city on it. I don't know.
Yes, I actually agree that this would definitely appear that this thing doesn't move. You're right, because of the thing on the leg.
This is our last one, but I thought this was hilarious, and it made me think, what is that land where Kalnovik lives?
Oh, the Vile Desolation.
The Vile Desolation. Yeah, all of the undead are just like completely bored at night, so they go out and party.
Yeah, they party hardy, but it doesn't really have an effect.
Yeah.
But the good news is you don't spend much on drinks.
Exactly. One drink will last a long time.
All right, so Gen Con is coming up. We're going to have Casey on to talk about Gen Con on the 30th, right before the convention. So we're excited to have him. We're going to start, I think I mentioned this, once we get back in studio, we're going to start adding more guests to folks to come on, different folks to come on and chat about the various aspects of Zyathé and things they've done and all of that stuff. I have talked to Howard, the math guy. I know he was very popular. He's coming back. We're going to bring him back on. But probably all of this will happen after Gen Con, just because we've got so many push-ups we've got to do before then.
Yeah, and we're still, our studio, not only is it not ready yet, because we've been working on so many other things, but our Wi-Fi...
The cake controversy has gotten in the way of our studio.
It's not even a cake controversy. There's so much. We work so hard to try and get the office in shape right now, and we are getting so much product. It's been crazy. But with that said, we also have Wi-Fi issues at the office, which is Adam and Mike are there trying to fix it right now.
Yeah.
So we are trying to get everything up and running. Hopefully we'll be back in studio this upcoming week. That's my hope, but I mean, we might still be here, to be quite honest. But we want to get back in the studio so bad.
So this is our sort of little preview of Shadows and Genzacon, and I'm pretty excited to do this, because I think a lot of people are going to love this adventure, but also love the sentiment of it. And really, I think we, Rob and I, when we originally started talking, had a lot of fun discussing this and how we were going to do this. And then, Rob did some of it, and now he's passed it back to me, and I'm doing some of it, and I'm changing some of the things that Rob did. And he's chastising me, not because he has pride of authorship, but he's chastising me because I'm making it a lot bigger, and he's worried we're not going to make any money. And this is a problem that we're going to try to
Good job, Rob. Chastise away.
This is a problem we're going to try to address in the next Kickstarter. Hopefully you all will support us, and we'll get a lot of other people to support us so that actually Gooey Cube can get to a place where it's breaking even, because that is very important to us going forward. But the dedication, let me read you the dedication, because this is really from the bottom of the heart. This adventure is dedicated to the many wonderful and dedicated people who make GenCon the amazing convention that it is. This marvelous gathering of gamers is truly one of the greatest treasures that the gaming community has. We are so thankful to Peter, David, Megan, Marion, Derek, and the rest of the fabulous GenCon team who give so much fun to so many of us. Thank you indeed. And for those of you who do not know, Peter, who is Peter Haas Wezekost, the Lord Commander of Genzacon, Peter was the one who created Wizards of the Coast long ago. And Wizards of the Coast was really famed for creating Magic the Gathering, right? And Magic the Gathering, this marvelous game that so many people love, right? And has been a collecting thing and a playing thing for so many years now. Just a wonderful game. And of course, Peter bought TSR and really helped resurrect the game of Dungeons and Dragons, because it had kind of fallen under favor, and there really was nothing to take its place. There's all this strange things that had gone on, in terms of just money going away. Not strange, but just difficult things that were going on, and Peter really helped to keep Dungeons and Dragons as a game in the world, and that might be overstating it a little bit, but it's pretty true. And then, of course, Hasbro comes and buys Wizards of the Coast and buys, all of what Peter had done. And, of course, all of the institutional stuff in the history of Dungeons and Dragons. And, of course, now, because of Peter's efforts and because of Hasbro and all of this stuff, Dungeons and Dragons is this marvelous, amazing, game now that is played by so many more people than it was ever played with, certainly when I was younger. And it's just a wonderful thing. But Hasbro didn't want GenCon, which was also something that Peter, had done. And I think there were other people involved. Please don't give me don't think that if I'm missing people, but Peter was sort of the spear, the tip of the spear, the leader of this whole thing. And so now Genzacon is still Peter's, because Hasbro didn't really want it. They didn't want to deal with it. They didn't want to pay for it, blah, 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 which is, of course, now this wonderful convention that continues on and on and on to be a gathering. And they're expecting, 70, 80,000 people to show up. It's just going to be massive, right? And so, yours truly has this crazy idea, right? And he thinks, well, what if we make this citadel in the Gloomport called Genzacon Citadel? And what if they guard this really scary place called the Grimindon? But the Grimindon, they can't just shut it up, because what passes through the Grimindon is this massive highway that goes into the Zyathé, and this massive highway brings a lot of trade. And so you can't really shut it down. What would you do? You'd build a protection device, right? And so that is what Genzacon became. And then I talked to Rob, and Rob was excited about it, and I was excited about it. And so we began to ponder what was going to be in this adventure. So why don't you go ahead and let's see the next image, camera ready. So this is the actual gate of Genzacon, but I want you to know that when we look at the map here, we're going to look at it in a minute. This is not the front gate. This is actually the rear gate, the one that is set up to allow trade and travel to come into the city from the depths of the Zyathé on the Farthen Deep Passage. And we do have a front gate image as well, which we'll show in a little bit. But it's important to understand that. And this is the beginning of the tale and of course, there's this sinister little creature on the chain that a lot of people have commented on me about. And yes, yeah, Pamela, there's this interesting little creature. But there's a lot to play with those interesting little creatures. And so right, send them to the group. I love some of these places that are showing up. Yeah, that's the big bad evil bug, the BBEB. It's but a bitty. It's the big bad bitty big bug.
Just know if I stop showing your comments, it's because Alphinius can't help but go on tangents when I do.
No, keep showing them.
So right. Know that I see them.
No,
but
I'll be better. I'll be better. Keep going, Camilla.
Okay. Are we ready for the next one?
Yes. So this is the map that is done by our marvelous Edvard, and I again, I love our maps. We've put so much effort and money into them. And this is Genzacon Citadel, which sits in the Gravenstown area, north of Strong Armadillos and the Knight's Edge Tavern. And of course, Strong Armadillos is a place that I have hold near and dear to my heart. And the Knight's Edge is a place that is held very near and dear to Scott and John and their family's heart. And so we put this in Gravenstown. So what happens is trade comes from that big gate that is to the far north in the depths. And then this is sort of a mustering area for trading caravans where they're inspected and all of that kind of stuff to make sure that they're not invaders, right? Trying to sneak into the Gloomport and do bad things into the city. There are also a tunnel guard that guards the Farthen Deep Passage in the more northern area. And they probably have some of the most dangerous jobs in the entirety of the city of Darkenhaven and the Gloomport because of what goes on in that tunnel. So they come in, they muster there. Then when they're allowed to passage, they can pass through the citadel, come out the front gate, and go to the trolley station where the goods can be distributed to the city. And so what this is a very important place because monsters come up this thing. The gate is sometimes breached, even though it is magical and very, very strong. And that is why this huge mustering area, which is called the Rock Yard, exists. And the Rock Yard exists because if things come into the Gloomport, basically all of those walls around are seriously manned. This is designed to be sort of a killing fields, right, for those kinds of horrible things, because there is not just monsters in the depths of the Grimmingdon. And this is what you will discover in the Genzacon tale. What you will discover in the Genzacon tale is that for the first time in any of our adventures, the Thule will begin to make their presence known. And
yes,
I'm pretty excited about that and pretty excited to bring that to this tale. And they may not be necessarily physically present, but they are definitely pulling the strings of what is happening inside the castle. Anyway, so hopefully you're looking at this. Hopefully you love these maps as much as I do. I can't wait to put all 9 of the Gloomport maps together, plus the 10th map, which I just have to do, which is the Warrens that are beneath the dump. Kevin worked on that very, very hard with some help from some others. And I just can't not do this map of the Warrens because I think people will love it. And it is part of the sort of the dump, and it's really cool. So isn't that something? Are you excited about that, Harry? I am stoked about it because it is the first time, right? It is the first emergence of the Thule, which they are mentioned, of course, in different materials. But this is the first time that they'll ever have a place in an adventure, and I'm excited to do it as part of Genzacon. So anyway, so this marvelous map. I hope you love them. I love them.
So, as my understanding, so this is Genzacon.
This is the entire Genzacon Citadel, right?
So,
and this is the keep. The castle is in the middle.
So this is the image that we were just looking at.
Correct. Exactly. Camera Mendy, well done. Yes, that's exactly right. So
I just put 2 and 2 together, shucks.
Yes, well done. But there is more. There are other buildings. There's obviously the place where the soldiers live in the barracks. There's the rec hall for the soldiers. There's a smithy and a big storage area. That's funny. That's funny. Never look at
We have some really, really clever comments.
Yeah,
love you guys.
You don't want to look them in the mouth. That is definitely not a good thing. That's funny, Jen. Okay, all right, I'm going to continue.
Okay,
But
next
there's
map.
also a smithy in there. There's a storage area, and it's a wonderful complex, right? So let's go to the next one, Camera Mandy. So can you make this bigger, or is that as big
Yeah,
as you
I
can
can
make it?
zoom in on it.
Yeah.
On this program, I'm able to zoom in.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to do this so we can show people, because Smashcase has been working really hard on the interior maps. And I'm sure if Rob is watching, he's going, "Oh my God, Alphinius, what are you doing?" Because we never envisioned that originally that we were going to map out the whole Citadel, but the entire Citadel will be mapped out in the Genzacon adventure. And literally the party, and you'll get this when I read this in a little bit, the party's job is to investigate, and they can literally go anywhere in the Citadel they want to go. And there's only two. Yeah, we're pushing on all of us right now, Harry. We are bombing right now to try to make sure we have all of this ready.
Just to be clear, bombing in the context that we are super busy, but we're not bombing in that we
we're
are
doing
going
great.
to achieve this. We are going to achieve it.
We're going to make it, but it's just a lot of work on all of us.
We are the bomb, is what's
it's
going
the bomb.
on.
Yes, that's an old saying. That's showing your age there, Camera Mendy. But anyway, I hope you all love these, because this, I think, for me, a map like this provides so much more, right? So much more engagement for the players. We won't have handouts for every room. We just can't do that. That would be a whole box set if we were going to try to do that. We'll have probably about 15 or so handouts in the adventure. But just having the maps of the rooms gives all of this immersive feeling, right? Because they actually can, even though there's not a handout for the room, the description combined with the beautiful map really does give the feeling of there. So your players will be able to go through all of these. Go ahead and Camera Mandy. Let's look at the next one.
Okay.
So this is the next map that
Hold on, I'm trying to. I have to zoom out.
Oh, you have to zoom out to be able to. Oh, that's interesting.
Go to the next one. There we go.
So this, you can zoom in on this even further if you want to give people a little better view. So this is actually the southern part there. Can you scroll up a little bit, Camera Mendy? Sorry, down. I apologize. Scroll down. So this is actually the entrance to the Citadel, the main entrance. There are other entrances, but this is the main entrance. And this
I love a dramatic staircase. Just FYI.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? So this is where you come in when you begin the whole beginnings of the adventure, and you enter there in. And then if you go to the right and sort of up a little bit there, wouldn't that be something to talk to Dwarven Forge and have them actually make this? Oh gosh, I can't. This is gonna happen at my table one of these days. I'm gonna build this whole Citadel, and we're gonna go through this adventure with my friends.
And Kevin broke Alphinius with a mention of Dwarven Forge.
Yeah, that's it. Well, they're about to do a Kickstarter too, and that's going to be a problem. Anyway, this is the Lord's Hall. This is where you come in and you meet with Lord Wezacost, and you meet with the four advisors, the High Advisor and the other three advisors. This is all sort of things that happen, but you're about to hear kind of what has upset the situation, right? So that's a good question. We're going to print quite a number of these, but I don't want anybody to be worried about it, because even if we run out at Gen Con, and we're going to do the same thing we always do. Anybody who wants stuff shipped to them, we're going to ship them instead of at no additional charge. We're going to ship them at no additional charge. So that will put those into the shipments as well. So even if we're out or getting out on Sunday, but we're already going to start telling people from the beginning, hey, listen, if you'd rather have this shipped, we can have it shipped. And by the way, for our Gooey people, I'm not making a big stink about this, but if you'd like your copy of the Genzacon limited edition signed, I will do that. I know Camera Mendy's like, oh my God, poor.
I'm like, I need to order some markers. I'm literally going to write that on a list. So yeah, order markers for Gen Con.
But if you want that signed by Alphinius, now some people might not. They might want it just pure. I'm actually going to try to get it signed by Peter. So that's a personal goal of mine, and perhaps all 5 of the people who are featured in there. If you'd like that, we can probably make that happen.
And also, try and get it on Thursday if you want it signed, because Alphinius will not be at the booth all weekend, and so it might be hard to catch him for a signature. But if you get it Thursday, he'll be at the party Thursday night, and you can just get it signed there.
Yes,
So.
and we can do that. So anyway, friends, so we're gonna try to take care of our gooey people. I don't want to make a big fuss about that and tell lots of people that I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna tell everybody who comes to the booth that I'm gonna do that. It's really for you all. Okay. There will be no Alfabio signatures. There will be not a single one. So anyway, next slide, Cameron Mendy.
Okay.
So this is the western portion of the Citadel that Cameron is showing. You can zoom in on that real quick. And I only wanted to do this because I wanted you to see these maps and the quality of the maps and how wonderful they're going to feel when you're playing them with your players. And our goal is also to be able to make these in 1 inch = 5 foot squares so that people can download them and actually create tiles. But that won't happen immediately. That takes us some time to be able to do that. A handprint, so just to squish it on there, Trey. Is that what you're thinking? And no, Alphonia does not exist yet. We will have this discussion, Harry. Yeah. If you want James to sign Witch's Wrath, you can have him do so. So,
although we are not selling Witch's Wrath at the convention,
we're selling it in a bundle. Okay, so this is what the only problem we can't do is just sell the Witch's Wrath for $40, give away Genzacon for free, and because that's basically, like I said, it's just giving money. So we're going to there are going to be a couple things that people can buy for $30 that actually make it not have us go broke, giving away the free copy of Genzacon. So like a couple of character folios and things like that, and that will be a $30 bundle. But for everything else, you're going to have to get probably a $50 purchase or something like that. Otherwise, it just is so economically unviable for us, especially with what we're doing with Genzacon. So go to the next one, Cameron Mendy.
Okay. Hold on. There you go. What
a pain. Yes, what a pain. So we have already begun doing portraits of the various folks, and this is Peter Wezakost, who is the Lord Commander of the Citadel, and of course this is based on Peter's picture, and it is marvelous. He is a Fusilier, and that is exciting too for us to bring in sort of a high-level Fusilier and have it be this special person to the gaming community. So go to the next one, Cameron Mendy.
Okay.
So this is Commander Zondela Maza Onyx. And she is the second in command of the Citadel, and she is a Sarth, and she is a paladin, and basically on loan from the churches, and she is the second in command, and so her job is to sort of help Peter, but she's also a pretty good politician, and so that helps a lot because she's a great soldier, but she's also very politically astute and capable of helping, so that that is kind of sometimes a difficult thing with soldiery, because sometimes soldiers aren't quite as good of politicians as they should be, just because of the environment they grew up in. And the next one, Cameron Mendy.
I just wanted to say that I agree with Jen that this woman is freaking fierce, and I love her.
Yes, I cannot see comments, so you make comments on the comments, because I'm looking at my little slide thing here to make sure I don't screw up.
Oh, okay.
Here, right?
We're on the next one.
So yes, so this is Captain Gyric Gadur, and Gyric Gadur is definitely a soldier, and this is the third in command of the Citadel, and this is actually based on Derek, and Derek is one of the Gen Con people, and we have 5 Gen Con people who have their portraits in here. And I'm excited to do that for them, and excited to do that for you and for us. So Captain Gyric Gadur is going to be in here, and you might meet this one in a bit. All right, next one. So this is Inspector Brazeneyes Honeyswood, and Inspector Brazeneyes Honeyswood is from the Gloomport. Basically police detail, right? And she is well regarded and a detective, and probably will help the party a little bit with their investigations. So we are excited about little Brazeneyes and what she's going to bring to the tale. She is a softling, as you can see, and which means she's from the south. She's a halfling, southern, what we call the southern halfling folk, although she is definitely called a softling. and she is very capable and interesting, and I kind of picture her like a little tiny Columbo, if anybody even knows who Columbo is. So,
Kevin wants to know, how much did you practice saying that name before this?
Bryson Ice Honeyswood. I practiced a little. So the halflings and the softlings, we kind of have a naming. We have kind of a naming thing that goes on with most of our races, and the halflings and the softlings have these very emotive names. Like Tyson drinks Azelbruins, and it's based on sort of their history of their family, right? So if they were brewers or whatever, right? And this is how these go, and they make for much more interesting names and make for a lot of fun. Just like the dwarves. Now this is not as uncommon out there in the world. And the dwarves have names that go along with stone and hammers and mining and all of that kind of stuff, right? So that it kind of gives a little more life to the world to me than having all your NPCs be named John or Jane, right?
Agreed.
All right, the next one, Camera Mandy.
I'm on the next one.
Okay, so this is Marianne, and Marianne is one of the Gencon people, and this is Mayorine McBrien. And Mayorine McBrien is the adjutant to Peter Wezakost, and very devoted to him. Basically, also part bodyguard. Even though Peter is quite capable in taking care of himself as well. But Mayorine is an interesting player.
What is she? Because you said she was an adjutant. Is that something different than what I think it is?
She is an assistant. She is the assistant or the protector. She's basically the lieutenant. Peter Wezakost's assigned lieutenant. The second, if you want to call Mayorine that. And helps the Lord of the Citadel, and also in this case is basically kind of a bodyguard. All right. So Mayorine is magnificent, wonderful player in this. Let's look at the next one.
Okay.
This is Chirurgeon Hannah Pinolria, and Hannah Pinolria is the healer assigned to the soldiery in the Citadel. A capable magist as well as a very good alchemist, and another wonderful player in the adventure.
I'm going to pause just for a second. So Harry put up an adjutant, not an adjutant, which I thought was like someone who annoys somebody. An adjutant.
No, it's ADG.
Yes, he put it up. Yes. So for anyone else in the fantasy world, use this now. Adjutant. Okay.
Adjutant. Yes.
I love it. Okay.
Yes. All right. The next one. So Pamela and I were having a little chat about, because she's helping so much on the Gloomport lore, and working with Jens and a number of others who work so hard on the Darkenhaven lore. And of course, marvelous people are doing all kinds of things. Jen's in the chat today. She's helping with Corey with the lore. I'd mentioned David and Kevin and Kevin, and we've got Randy is doing some marvelous things with the whole catacombs area with his little group, and there's a wonderful group in there. And of course, goodness gracious, I just can't name you all, but it's wonderful to have this wonderful team. And for those of you who are like, Alphinius, how come you haven't been talking about the Gloomport? It's because we've got to get these two things done, Witch's Wrath and Genzacon. We got to get Magicka out, and we got to get Chapter 5 out. And as soon as those are done, we have almost nothing left, save for Darkenhaven, Gloomport, and the Dead and Fallow, and a couple of other little things. And this Kickstarter is done.
Save for these two huge projects and a couple small projects. Well, we're almost done.
But I have remember, Camera Mandy, even though we have to still edit and put it all together, much of the writing is done on both of those. Much of the artworks are done on both of those. It's just wonderful to have, because we're making progress on all of these things on the side. So, and we also have to do, of course, finish the Glooming Doom, which Adam helped us with marvelously, and then Kevin stepped in and helped with that some more, and AJ, of course, and we, because these are all collaborative. Anyway, let's look at this wonderful person here, because we really need some kind of a council in the Gloomport, and we hadn't really kind of nailed it down yet. And so Pamela and I were chatting. We came up with this idea called the Gloom Lord, and so this is Gloom Lord Azun Sun, and Azun Sun is Estrenian, and but a citizen of the Republic, and another wonderful personage that you will encounter in Genzacon.
Love it.
All right, we got a couple more, and then we're going to be done with this, and then we're going to do a reading, and we're going to let everybody get out of here. All right. This next one is Lieutenant John Lastimos, and Lieutenant John Lastimos is a very important figure in the military, in the Citadel, works with Direct Gadur and Commander Zondel, and another personage you will encounter. And the next one is Tunnel Guard Captain Drunoth Deppenstone. And Drunoth Deppenstone is the leader of the Tunnel Guard. And these are the people who actually are down in the Grimmington watching the road that comes up. They have very dangerous jobs, and they have lost more than a few of their soldiery over the years. And then lastly is our marvelous Miera Maandi.
Who's an actual adjutant.
You're not an adjutant.
No, like a aggregate.
You're a parasols merchant. That's what I understand. I think you sell parasols. So, yes. So anyway, you got embroiled into this thing, and that's pretty much Rob's fault. So you can blame him, but I think it's kind of fun. So, we are going to have you be a part of it. But there are basically about 20 portraits or so that are going to be in the Genzacon adventure, and these are all people who could be suspects. But I encourage greatly game masters who want to make it a little more expansive, grab a few portraits of guards, grab a few portraits of other named characters that haven't got portraits, and really expand your options for suspects and all of this stuff as we go through the mystery.
I love it.
All right, camera Mandy, we're going to do a little reading here.
How long is the reading? Because we're actually right at 11.
Well, do you not want me to do it? I think we should
hold the reading till next week.
Well, then let's do it.
Yeah.
I will read, but just show the first slide.
Okay.
And I will read just this first paragraph because I think it's wonderful. Rob crafted this, and then I helped him craft it a little bit more. And I think that it's a wonderful little opening. While you walk through the perpetual murkiness of the Gloomport, your heads and shoulders dampened by a spattering of the drips, which is also known as cave rain. You look up at the walls of Genzacon's citadel rising before you. Illuminated in the somewhat diffused light of magical lamps hung generously around the outside of the castle on iron posts. The keep is an imposing sight, rising out of the rocky floor, bedecked with banners proudly revealing her colors of green and white. The high stone walls appear impregnable from an attack on this side, but you know that it is on the opposite side of the castle that much of the security of the citadel is oriented, guarding the huge tunnel called the Farthen Deep Passage, which stretches deep into the Zion Dune. Yes, and that is how the adventure begins. So I apologize. I was actually trying to get done a little early today, but we went a little long. But I hope everybody enjoyed it.
I was like, we should keep our summer shows to 30 minutes, but I don't know that we'd be able to.
I think we could do 40. I mean,
yeah.
If people, if you're enjoying it, listen, I want to keep doing this. I'm excited to do this. We'll finish this wonderful preview next week. Thank you all for coming.
Yes, I'm going to do a quick announcement of our giveaway winners for this week.
Oh, yeah, the giveaways.
And so we are giving away prints of the Genzacon cover. It's this image, but full and signed by Alphinius Goo. It's a print.
With the little bug. Yes.
And it says Shadows and Genzacon.
Yes. BBB EB. Yes. Big bad bitty evil bug. The BBBEB. Yes, that's what it is.
Our winners are David Nescu42, Nagiri Cat Gaming, and Lady Hawk 5050, which is Michelle.
Congratulations, my friend. We'll send you 3 of those. It's a wonderful thing. So thank you for being here and hanging out with us on Saturday mornings. We're excited about all that is going on, the Witch's Wrath and Genzacon, which will be wonderful at Gen Con, and all the other things that we're putting together. Thank you for your part in being in this world of Zyathé with us. We are excited for the future. Remember that tomorrow is the end of the contributors contribution thing. So get it in if you haven't done it. And go ahead, Camera Mandy. You can give the line while I sip my coffee.
May all your adventures be be cakey. No, what is
Did
it?
you say kinky?
Cakey.
What did you say, Camera Monday? On our
Cakey.
stream, you said all
Like
your
cake, because we've been talking about smuggling cake into the
Oh, cakey! My God, I thought you said kinky. I was like, this show is going downhill fast. May all your adventures be cakey. Bye, friends.